So let's see the solution of section 1 of the paper Mathematical Science, paper 2 of set examination conducted for the states Maharashtra and Goa. So in section 1 we have 10 questions, section 2 has 90, section 3 also has 90 questions. But section 1 and section 2 is applicable to people with mathematics background, and section 1 and section 3 is for those with statistics background. So we in our series will focus only on mathematics, and so in this video we'll solve questions from section 1. So questions from section 1 are the questions numbered from 1 to 10. Let's start with the very first question. Okay, so since we have 120 minutes for 100 questions, ideally we have 72 seconds for each question. So let's try to attempt each question in that time frame and understand the solution. So the very first question in this case is a question based on sequence of real numbers. Let's take it into the log space. So the question reads, xn is a sequence of real numbers and x is a real value. Then accordingly, what is true between the relations? So now the question has different relations between the limit of the sequence tends to infinity and this. So whenever the limit of the sequence is less than a real value, then accordingly we can find infinitely many terms of the sequence which will be lesser than x. And because of this, the option that's correct for the first question is question number, the option is option D. Okay, let's proceed to question number 2. So in this case, we have a function, okay, and the function is defined on closed interval 0, 1. The function is x square plus e raised to x minus 2. Okay, and if we look at the function at 0 will take value minus 1, which is negative. Okay, and at 1 the value would be 1 plus e power 1 minus 2, which is positive. So we can conclude that the root lies between 0 and 1. So there is a solution between 0 and 1. And so the first possibility is ruled out, that is f of x equal to 0 has no solution in 0, 1. Let's check with f dash of x. So f dash of x will be 2x plus e power x. And if we do the same thing with f dash, that is f dash at 0, that would be e raised to 0, so 1. F dash at 1 would be 2 plus e, which is again positive. So this concludes that there is no solution between 0, 1. Okay. So again, this possibility which says f dash of x equal to 0 has a solution in 0, 1 is ruled out. Now the derivative is positive, is greater than 0 for the values between 0 and 1, the closed interval, the domain. And so since the derivative is positive, accordingly we can conclude that the function is increasing. So C is the correct answer for this question. Let's take the third question. The third question is based on complex numbers. So here we have two complex numbers, Z and W, and it is given that the product of this complex numbers is real and the sum also is real. So that means there is no imaginary term in the product and the sum, and we have the options. This is possible when Z is equal to W, Z equal to W conjugate, Z comma W belonging to R, and Z is equal to W conjugate or Z comma W belonging to R. So in case if Z equals W, then the possibility of having the product, that is Z into W, which will be eventually Z square, may not be a real number, because this will still have some imaginary terms if we square it. So we can rule out the first possibility. If z is equal to w conjugate, then accordingly we'll have w into w conjugate. If we take w as a plus ib, then the product will be with a minus ib, and so this will be a square plus b square, which is a real value. And we know that w plus w conjugate will also remove the imaginary part, and so this will be 2a. So when z is equal to w conjugate, it holds. If z and w both are just the real values, which means the imaginary part is 0, the product will be still real and the sum will also be real. And because of this, option B and option C are correct. And so option D, which gives us both the possibilities, is the correct value. Okay, let's go to the next question, which is question number 4. So this question is finding the power series expansion about z equal to 1, okay, of this complex function, which is f of z equal to 1 by z, and we have the disk mod of z minus 1 less than 1. So in this case, we have f of z equal to 1 by z, and since we want to find the power series expansion about z equal to 1, accordingly we can rewrite this as 1 plus z minus 1, and using the expansion of 1 upon 1 plus x, which is 1 minus x plus x squared, and so on. Okay. Okay, we can have the expansion as 1 minus z minus 1 plus z minus 1 the whole square minus z minus 1 the whole cube, and this goes on. So we can see out of all the expansions, the one which matches with this is the very first option, option A. Let's proceed ahead. Question number 5. It's a question based on linear transformation, linear map. Okay, so we have this linear map T, which is going from Rn to Rm. Okay, and we want to find the order of the matrix. So T is defined from Rn to Rm. So we'll have the matrix which will have the columns of this type, that is T of E1, T of E2 up to T of En. Okay, so E1, E2 up to En are the standard basis of Rn. So we can see this matrix will have n columns and will have m rows, and so the order of this matrix will be m cross n. So the very first option, that is A, is the correct option for this question. Next is question number 6. It is again based on linear algebra. So let's So in this case, we have V, a finite dimensional vector space, and T is a linear map. Lambda is an eigenvalue of T, and which of the following statement is false is asked for. So since lambda is an eigenvalue of T, we can say that there exists a vector, a non-zero vector, which is equal to T of V is equal to lambda times V. And so we can have T minus lambda I times V equal to 0. So there exists a vector for which this particular thing happens. And this particular thing is nothing but, like, if we go for kernel of T minus lambda I, this kernel would be all those vectors where T minus lambda I of that vector is equal to 0. So since here we have there exists a vector v for which the eigenvalue is lambda, accordingly this particular set will surely have some vectors. So this set will not be 0. Okay, so the very first option which says kernel of t minus lambda I is not equal to 0 is correct. Then we have kernel of t minus lambda I is equal to 0, which is not applicable in this case, okay, because it will have a vector other than a 0 vector, and so the statement which is false in this case is kernel of t minus lambda I is equal to a singleton 0. The other two options are also correct. That can be easily seen. Like we can make use of rank nullity theorem, and that gives us a relation between the rank nullity and the dimension of the vector space. And the fourth statement is straightforward statement. When it comes to matrices, we can accordingly rewrite the same definition of eigenvalues as determinant of t minus lambda I is equal to 0. Okay, so the false statement in this case is option B. Let's move ahead. Question number 7. Now this is a question based on probability distribution. So we'll have to solve it. We have a PDF given, a probability density function given, and we want to find the probability of x greater than 1, where x is a random variable. So in this case, the probability density function is c times 4x minus 2x squared defined on 0, 2. Otherwise, it is equal to 0. And we can use this to find the value of c. So on the interval 0 to 2, c times 4x minus 2x squared dx will be equal to 1. And then solving this integral, we can find out the value of c, and the value of c comes out to be 3 upon 8. Now to find the value of probability of x greater than 1, accordingly we can have an integral going from 1 to the upper bound, which is 2 in this case, and then the function that is c into, it is 3 by 8 into 4x minus 2x squared dx, and integrating this expression, integrand gives us the value as 1 by 2. Okay, so we have option C, which is 1 by 2. That's the correct answer for this question. Let's proceed to question number 8. It's a question based on MGF, moment generating function. So we have this moment generating function given, and we are asked to find the value of expectation, that is the mean. So in this case, the moment generating function is e raised to 2 e raised to t minus 2. Now to find the mean, what we can do is we can differentiate this expression, that is the MGF, e raised to 2 e raised to t minus 2, and we can obtain the value of this at t equal to 0. So the derivative of this expression turns out to be e raised to 2 e raised to t minus 2 into the derivative of the power, which is 2 e raised to t. We are differentiating with respect to t. So when we put t equal to 0, we have the value as 2. Okay, so option C is the correct option in this case. Let's proceed to question number 9. Question number 9 is a question based on MPP. So in this case, we have a line 5x1 plus 3x2 less than or equal to 30, and the next line is x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to 18 as a part of the constraint. Z equal to 10x1 plus 6x2 is to be maximized. So for this particular line, the possible points for plotting if we take x1 as 0, we'll have x2 as 10. And if we take x2 as 0, we'll have x1 as 6. For the second line, the points for plotting would be if x1 is 0, x2 will be 9. And if x2 is 0, x2 is 0, x1 will be 18. Okay. So we can plot the lines which are with intersects 6, 0 on x-axis, 18, 0 on x-axis, 0, 9 on y-axis, and 0, 10 on y-axis. So connecting 0, 9 with 18, that is this line. Connecting 0, 10 with 6, 0 is this line. And so we have intersection at this place. Since the constraints are of less than type, accordingly the shaded region will be the origin part. And so this point, the point of intersection, has to be obtained, which is a corner point. So this is origin. Let us assume this as A, this as B, C, and D. So the value of Z at the points A, B, C, and origin, instead of D, we'll put it as O, standard notation. So A is 6, 0, B is to be found, C is 0, 9, and D is 0, 0. So the value of Z, which is 10x1 plus 6x2, would be 0 at this point. It will be x2 being 9, 6, 9, 54. Then for A, it will be 60. And for B, let's find the point of intersection. So solving the first and the second equation, that is 5x1 plus 3x2 equal to 30, and x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 18, would give us, this would be 5x1 plus 10x2, 90, and the subtraction of first and the third one will lead to minus 7x2, and 30 minus 90 is minus 60. So x2 is 60 upon 7, and x1 will be 18 minus 2x2. So that is 18 minus 120 upon 7. 7 into 18 would be 126. So that would be 6 by 7. So this point, which is 6 by 7 and 60 by 7, when put into the expression, that is 10 into 6 by 7 plus 6 into 60 by 7, would lead to 60 by 7 plus 360 by 7, which is 420 by 7. That gives us 60. Okay, so we have the value of Z as 60 at A and 60 at B as well. So there are 2 points where we have the feasible solution. And so from the options, we can accordingly pick up the second one, which is multi-feasible solution. Okay, let's proceed with the last question from the set. The question is again based on linear programming, and it reads out, which of the following statement is true for a linear programming problem? So every feasible solution is a basic feasible solution. If there is a feasible solution, there is a basic feasible solution. Now, when it comes to feasible solution, it is a solution which satisfies the constraints and also the non-negativity constraints. And basic feasible solution comes into picture when this feasible solution will have some variables equated to zero, equal to zero. So the question of basic feasible solution arises only if we have feasible solution. And we know that not every problem will have a feasible solution. So the question of basic feasible solution is coming into picture only after feasible solution, and therefore the second option, it says if there is a feasible solution, then there is a basic feasible solution is the correct option, and so we go with B for this question. So that completes 10 questions of section 1 of this paper. So in the upcoming videos, we'll see the remaining questions from section 2. Till then, goodbye.